man?
Yeah, bro.
Alright, let's get to it. Welcome, guys. This is HighSo-Spective, episode 2, intro.
Yeah, this time we're doing it right.
This time we're doing it right for y'all.
So, you want to tell the people what we're going to talk about today, Hector?
Let's tell the people what we're going to talk about today, man. Today we're going to, start it off. So this is the format that we're trying out, right? So we kind of think of a topic during our week and we discuss some things about it. Sometimes JC comes up with it, sometimes I do. And then that's the opening topic for the podcast, and then we see where it takes us from there.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Stay close to the mic, brother.
Yeah, I will.
So that's basically what we want to do. Eventually it'll be dope to get people to vote on this as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Like we could choose themes, and then within those themes we have topics, and they can vote the most interesting one.
Definitely, man.
And we share our perspectives about it, or we invite people. Let us know if you want to do that. That can totally be arranged. We can invite people, professionals in the field that we're gonna talk about, and let them share their HighSo-Spective. Yeah. Badooms.
Nice. All right. So the topic today is kind of conflict, right?
Yeah. Foreign
tell
conflict.
Tell a little bit about that.
Yeah. So basically, I guess as some people have noticed, I've shared on Instagram about the war in Yemen, especially the fact that people there don't have shit to eat. UNICEF is kind of forecasting that around 6,000 children could die by the end of 2020 out of malnourishment and just like a food starvation, literally. And then what I thought was it would be dope to, or not would be dope, but certainly it's important to understand what the fuck is going on over there. And how can we help, and what is the role of the EU in all this conflict, why haven't we heard so much about it, and what can we maybe do about it, right? So that's basically this, but also in general, like there's conflict all over the world ever since the fucking Cold War ended in the, I don't remember when, the 80s. We can Google that, but all these places have been split, into different countries that didn't exist before. In Africa, they split that shit up. Middle East, they split that shit up. What does that do, man? That creates conflict, because people that maybe thought something was their land now are forced to act like that's not their land anymore.
Yeah, it ended in 91.
1991, dude, that's like a few years before I was born. It's like, and that means that a lot of fucking countries nowadays haven't, like, they're just a few years older than me, dude. They didn't exist before that. You understand? That's why people fight so much in all these countries. But who caused that division? Who caused that division? Did they divide those countries like that? No, not really.
Yeah.
Not really. And then we want to go intervene and help establish democracies?
Democracies, right?
Oh, gosh.
So tell us a little bit more about, what do you think can be done about it, or like give maybe a little bit of context about the situation that you know of, Yemen, right?
Dude, well, so what happened in Yemen, right? In Yemen, there was one of the ex-president was losing kind of the trust of the people. I don't remember the dates exactly, some years ago. And then there was this rebel group that started, the Houthis, and they took advantage. Oh no, there was a re-election, and the new president wasn't as strong. Like, he didn't really have the popular. He didn't have the hearts of the people. Let's say it like that.
Okay.
And then this rebel group called the Houthis, they it sounds so gangster, the Houthis. They took advantage of that, and they started taking over cities, man. And then they took of one city called Saada. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Maybe my Arabic people can correct me on that shit. And another city also that is kind of important, and what happens there is that Saudi Arabia looks at this happening, and then this rebel group called the Houthis, they are being supplied weapons by Iran, right? And then what Saudi Arabia is saying is that no, Iran is actually the one trying to gain control of Yemen, and Yemen is in a very strategic position geographically because a lot of oil shipments go through there. So of course, all the oil interested nations get involved in this bullshit, right?
Like who?
Like Saudi Arabia, the Arabic Emirates, Egypt is backing Saudi Arabia, but also the U.S. is the biggest supplier of weapons right now for this conflict, right?
Wow.
And the problem now that I would say, how do we play a role in all of this? No, but wait, first the conflict itself. So Saudi Arabia started warring with the Houthis, with the rebels, to kind of avoid Iran taking control of Yemen. And then one thing that they did is they put barricades, right? So these barricades are in the borders where imports are regulated. And they're doing that to regulate or to avoid the import of weapons from Iran to the rebel group. But what they are also doing is fucking up the supply of food and essential products that people there need for them to survive, like healthcare products, etc. And now the prices of food are incredibly high. People cannot afford feeding themselves. People are fucking starving, you know?
Yeah.
They don't have access to medical supplies, and they already have dangers of like diseases like polio that we have eradicated. They are in danger of bringing it back because they don't have access to vaccines. They don't have access to medical supplies, man.
Fuck, man.
And all of that is because these countries are barricading and trying to fight Iran in this, but the civilians are severely affected, right? So their whole economy is fucked. There have been numerous cases already. Actually, a Dutch lawyer has submitted a complaint at the Hague Court of Justice, International Court of Justice, where she is trying to prosecute European companies that have been supplying weapons to Saudi Arabia, and these weapons have specifically been used to bomb civilians. Like, these people have been, I think the UN or the UNICEF has accounted at least 7,000 innocent civilians killed by bombings from Saudi Arabia. You know?
How many?
So
How much?
7,000, at least 7,000 civilians
Wow.
have been killed by bombings. And then this Dutch lawyer, she helped collect shells from the bombs that were dropped in one of the occasions, and they suspect that they can be linked to Airbus or to General Dynamics and these big American warfare suppliers, you know. But I'm gonna share the exact details and links and shit like that later in the future, so don't quote me on the specific names. But I'm gonna share.
Check the links in the description.
Yeah,
We'll put
for
them
sure.
After the video, if you wanna, go deeper into the details of what's going on. So the case of the lawyer, that's because of certain part in the supply chain of weapons.
Yeah.
They are involved.
Yeah, because it's illegal. It's illegal for you to contribute warfare products that are being used in war crimes, and killing civilians is war crimes, you know. Like this lawyer or someone in the same article where they talk about the lawyer, they said that there was this instance where Saudi Arabia was saying in advance that they're gonna bomb some city area. Some NGO called the Saudi military and told them, yo, in this location there's a hospital, people cannot just evacuate, you know, please don't bomb the place. They're like, yeah, stay there, no problem. 1 hour later they bombed the fucking hospital.
Wow.
So
fucking dick move.
that's war crime, you know.
Yeah.
And there has been, so in all fairness, what does the EU do, or what role can the EU play? Well, officially there is, especially in the Netherlands, for example, one thing that I should apologize, because I made a post on Instagram once saying that European countries contribute to the killings of innocent people. including Netherlands. But the Netherlands has actually put kind of like a ban, or not ban. They have regulated the supply of weapons to Saudi Arabia. They need to prove, companies that are gonna sell or that require a permit to sell certain weapons, they need to prove that these weapons are not gonna be used in Yemen before they supply, right?
Okay.
And then there is a EU list also of companies that need to get a special permit, and all of that helps regulate the role of supplying warfare to places where, you know, human rights are being violated.
Yeah.
But this shit is so vague, man. This shit is so vague because, let's say, okay, the Netherlands does not supply certain things to Saudi Arabia, but you know who they supply to? America. And you know who's the biggest supplier of weapons to Saudi Arabia? America. So it's like, come on, man. Really? It's weird, dude. And then they have this, okay, certain things need to have a permit, right? For you to supply certain weapons that are clearly can be used to kill and violate human rights. So the Netherlands has made sure that weapons that would require a permit and would contribute to the killings of Yemeni innocent civilians, they have made sure that these weapons have not been used by the American companies supplying to Saudi Arabia, right?
Okay.
However, some of the things, components, technologies, like software, navigation systems, shit like that are not weapons, but are used in tanks, for example, that the U.S. does sell to Saudi Arabia and that Saudi Arabia does use in Yemen for the war. These things,
they do supply.
They don't need a permit. They don't need a permit for them, for example. Okay. So in that way, you are still contributing. You know, you're still part of the problem because you're helping Saudi Arabia fix the tanks or upgrade the tanks that are going to be used against Yemenis people, potentially killing civilians, innocent civilians. And if they've done it, like bombing a hospital after you got a warning, how can you trust them that they're going to give a fuck? Even if you trust them not to, you know?
I think, but in a way, though, isn't that the same as, for example, you going after the people that supply the chemicals that a big cosmetic company uses in their product and that causes cancer? Would you go after the people supplying the chemicals?
If they know.
Isn't that
if they know, if they know that these chemicals that we are supplying to this product are directly related or causing cancer in people, then you are contributing to the problem and you need to be prosecuted because you're actively damaging people's lives.
Okay, but what if the product that you're supplying, these chemicals, is not the agent causing it, but it's building it, and that building of it is what's causing it? So who's to blame there? You know, is there some equal guilt that falls on this person in the supply chain, or this one, the next link in the chain?
Yeah, well, it's more complex than that, right? Because some of the components, you sell them because they are used for defense, not offense, right? Not attacks. And then kind of banning the components or banning trade with Saudi Arabia, or any trade that would end up in Saudi Arabia, maybe it's not the best thing to do, because legally they have the right to buy things for defense purposes and for training and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I think that as long as the war is going on, this can cease, this can stop, because they have been trying to get them to agree on a ceasefire. And it doesn't happen, right? Like Saudi Arabia, for example, agrees to a ceasefire, but they don't remove the barricades, and that still keeps people fucked, man. Like, fuck the Houthis. You wanna war with the Houthis? Sure, but
give the people alone.
Give the people some supplies. Let them import food. Let them, get access to basic hygiene, basic healthcare, and shit like that. And don't bomb the fucking civilians,
But that is such a fucked up strategy of war, man. because in the end, like let's say this rebel group is in that country, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, if they don't stop, they're putting their people
Yeah.
in harm's way, right? So
Yeah.
it's like putting pressure on them. Like, bro, yeah, if we cannot get to you, we'll get to them. What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, like the Houthis are taking over Yemen, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a Yemeni problem. What gives Saudi Arabia the authority to say I'm gonna stop this group
By killing them.
because I don't want Iran to use them? Like who told you can do that? Who said that you were the judge in this situation?
Yeah.
And then everybody, and by the way, it's not only the US. France is also supplying a lot of things. The UK is there helping Saudi Arabia a lot. These guys are big suppliers. Spain is also there. So that's how we're us as Europe, maybe as EU members or whatever, we could put pressure on these governments. Maybe, I don't know, sign petitions, be like, yo, if the war doesn't stop, y'all need to stop supplying to these people until the war stops. It's as simple as that. And right now it feels more like profits are being put over
lives. Famine. These people are going through famine, literally.
Dude, they are literally the worst humanitarian crisis in years, and they were already the 5th poorest country in the world before this conflict started.
Damn.
Like, why you gotta torture these people like that, man? They already have it hard.
Yeah.
Shit, son.
Yeah, well, but I mean, we're putting pressure, or like not putting pressure, but indeed a strategy would be to put pressure on the government to hey bro, we're aware of this, do shit.
Yeah.
But also, what can we as individuals do, man? What have you found in your, what can we, like, are there like some charities, some organizations or that can help, and how would one help?
Man, definitely, like what I shared on Insta last time with UNICEF and World Food Program, the World Food Program, both these organizations are actively helping children and people in general over there, and just giving donations to them, so that they can reach, like they are very open about what they do with the money, how they are targeting different issues, how much money went to what. You can find all these reports available. So those are like the trustworthy things that I found, but that's not gonna stop the war, and I think that's what needs to stop. Now, of course, the war is more difficult or less feasible to solve, but we can at least be aware of it. Like, we've seen amazing changes happen when everybody agrees that something is fucked up, and people have been protesting a lot about Black Lives Matter, and we've seen changes happening in the Netherlands and the US, and people become more woke about this when they see that there is the oppression of a certain group, and this is the same, dude. This is oppression of the Yemeni civilians. They don't deserve to be bombed randomly. Children are being bombed, schools are being bombed. Some children only have food, like a good meal, only when they went to school. Now their schools are not there, so what the fuck are they gonna eat, because their parents don't have food. Doctors don't even get paid, man, because they don't have access to funds, and some of them are getting like a small allowance, but basically doctors are working for free, shit like that, and they don't have enough equipment. And so
that must be so frustrating, man.
Yeah, there you go.
That must be really frustrating. Like, I'm doing my job, what I specialized in, but everybody, in order to do their job, they need tools, and if you remove these tools from the access of the professional, you cripple them. So in a way, indirectly, that's killing people.
That's killing people too, man, of course. And the people that die from starvation, that's directly related to the war, to also casualties of war. And what I think we can do then, to answer the question, is just talk about it and express it, openly, maybe on social media. Maybe sign petitions. I think this is a really cool initiative. Sign petitions, that showed governments that, yo, we're not okay with this, and as a government you should be representing our values. um, just being formal about it, saying we don't endorse what Saudi Arabia does, but we still do business with each other. That's very, yeah, superficial, showing support to the Yemenis. And dude, people's lives matter. Like, it's weird that every good initiative in 2020 or the 21st century needs to start with some life matter. Of course, life matters, dude. Why do we need to make this a big deal for it to be like, oh yeah, oh fuck, yeah.
Yeah, they do matter.
Yeah, shit.
Didn't know. Okay, you talk about these organizations where you can donate to. We're gonna link them, by the way, so everybody can check them out. Last time we were talking, you mentioned something about like helping. It doesn't take much at all.
No,
right?
Man.
What is the amount, and what does that amount do?
For sure, man. Like there is this app called Share the Meal, and then basically you can donate like 4 cents, euro cents per day, and 4 cents is enough to feed one child for the whole day.
Wow.
You can donate like 20 euros and you feed a whole family for a month, shit like that. And then there is another app called from the World Food Program called Free Rice or something like that, and that one is cool. All you gotta do is download the app and then you play games on it. It's like trivia, questions, brain teasers, shit like that. At the bottom you see little ads, and the ads are usually actually from the same organizations like the UN, UNICEF. They're reusing, like, using the ad money that they will spend with external parties, reinforcing within themselves, which is cool, like efficient use of funds. But those ad dollars that you see on that app, they're used to give rise to these communities, like in Yemen, but other communities as well. That's one thing also that is a little bit annoying. Like, how can you give your money specifically for Yemen? That's not so straightforward.
Oh, so right now is these apps and everything, is there a clear way for you to track where it's going and who's distributing these donations?
Yes, there are, like the one with the Share the Meal. You get sometimes videos of the family that got the food, who you helped, little stories. You can also target the specific conflict that you want to contribute to, like maybe a refugee camp in Kenya, or but you couldn't choose Yemen as a conflict last time I checked. I tried donating through UNICEF directly to Yemen, but again, it's not clear that you're donating directly to Yemen. It's more like you're donating to UNICEF, and then they will, part of their operations is the Yemen operation.
I think that's something that turns a lot of people off, right? Because it's like these organizations have built sometimes this reputation of, like, there's a lot of corruption, like the World Health Organization during the fucking pandemic, all the news that came out and the information that came out, how linked they are to China, right? So it's
praising China, while China, like, the government, let's not say Chinese government, because we don't want to create unnecessary discrimination here. The Chinese government was not being very responsible in the way that they shared the data at the beginning, right? And then the WHO director or whatever was praising China for their exemplary approach and shit like that. Like, well, come on, it's
come on, buddy,
sucking balls.
Yeah, bro. It's like,
and now it's been like another thing. Yeah, I feel like the scientific community and the philanthropic community, charities, whatever, y'all need to get your shit together. The scientific community, like, you guys had people confused during the fucking pandemic. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, this and that. It's actually come out that they weren't even sure. There was a fear that by everyone wearing masks, there would be a short supply of masks to doctors, but at the end it turns out that wouldn't have been the case. And it also turned out that if we were all wearing masks from the beginning, it would have been better to contain the fucking virus. So it's like, communicate to people openly, right? If you don't know this is gonna work for sure, say, hey, this is our best suggestion. Don't say like, we figured this shit out, you don't need to wear a mask, it's not helping and it's only giving negative side effects. Because then when it turns out that people do need to wear a mask, then you lose trust from the people. This is why so many people think conspiracies are going on and shit like that. So communication of science needs to improve, man, and communication of charities needs to improve. I can only trust what you report on your fucking website. Like, how I know you're not lying to me.
Trace it. Yeah, like that's exactly what people need before they donate. I mean, some people but not everybody. But especially people that don't have that trust to give money away, or even the willingness of being transparent might prove to be like the persuasive factor in people actually donating and actually getting these problems solved in a way, or at least easing what these people are going through.
But definitely the best thing to do, like if you don't want to donate to charity, I get that, but the best thing to do is to not ignore these things. It's not okay that there is a conflict in Yemen where innocent people are killed, where children are just forecasted to die out of starvation. This is not okay. And then thinking that, but it's not our problem, it's out of my hands, or things like that. It's not really out of your hands if you sign a petition, if you pressure your governments to pressure Saudi Arabia, and maybe cut ties until the war starts. I know that I'm oversimplifying it. It's probably more difficult than that, but fuck, you gotta start somewhere. If people care about something, governments will follow. Like, that's what you need to realize.
And I think it's maybe it might sound like an unpopular opinion, but going back to what we were talking about last time about interest, right? So there are many problems in the world, right? So let's say conflict is not the only one, but if there's something that you do in your life, in your lifestyle, that you find like, fuck, without this I wouldn't be fulfilled, I wouldn't be happy, check it out. And there's probably people that don't have access to that. There's a lot of foundations, for example, allowing people with disabilities to do sport. Right, that's one thing. If you're an athlete, right, that's part of your lifestyle. Imagine somebody that wants to but can't. You can also like link it to that. Oh fuck, in my interest, I'm helping, and there might be that link that you need to actually like get shit down. There's like so many problems. We're not gonna solve them all in our lifetime, but maybe we can plant the seeds that will eventually help.
So that's it. I love what you said, because including me, just a few months ago, including me, a lot of people, we think that, oh my god, this is an injustice and this is happening, and then like getting angry about it and making everybody else feel guilty for not being aware and not doing anything about it, and we think this is gonna solve the problem. Well, it turns out that it's not so easy to tackle a complex problem. Just by and just complaining is not gonna help. But if we are patient, maybe, and we just change in our culture the things that we allow, the things that we don't allow, the things that are okay and the things that are not okay, leaders will follow. Like, a leader is not a leader if he doesn't have the approval of his people. So we as people need to put pressure on our leaders. Like,
say that again.
Leaders are not leaders if they don't have the approval of their people. And we as the people need to put pressure on our leaders to be more ethical, to give a fuck about these things. Like, one thought that I've shared that to me is mind-blowing, and maybe a lot of people might not like it, but if you do the math in your head and if you think about it deeply, do me that favor, and if you still disagree with me, let me know, because I always want to see other people's perspectives. But my thought is that you're just lucky. You're just lucky to be born wherever you're born, dude. It could have been you in Yemen, like the baby that was born in Yemen and is now forecasted to die of starvation, they didn't choose to be born there. Why is it okay for that baby to go through that?
Yeah.
You know, like I would have loved it. You know, like I come out of, I not for a long time, but I've seen poverty in my life. You know, and I've been in situations, and where I'm happy that somebody helped me. I'm happy that I found a solution. I'm happy that I can do things that maybe other people where I grew up might never be able to do. You know, it's nice that somebody helps. So yeah, don't and yeah, I don't know, man. Like
That's
no,
exactly. You can relate to that
yeah, man.
situation, right? So it
Yeah, for sure.
gives you a fresh perspective. Also, like, it's good that you see the benefits that okay, no, I have this perspective and this one now, and how many opportunities you see with this advantage that you have
For
now,
sure,
right?
man. For
Especially
sure.
in terms, I think, education. It's a huge one. Just access to technology for you to educate yourself already makes a huge difference. Huge difference.
Yeah, dude. And the thing is that again, if when you put things on perspective, because look, it's not like it would cost us a lot to allocate resources to people that need it. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Like what I said, it's 4 cents a day, and you feed a child. You know, it's 30 euros, and you feed a family for a month. That's something that most people can afford, for example.
Yeah.
Let alone technologies and access to education. These things come at a lower cost because currency differences. You know, your euro has a lot of power in these places where they are ravaged by poverty, or you know, low economic performance. So it doesn't take so much
Yeah.
to help. And then why are we not helping in that sense? You know, why not allocate? If we all allocate a little bit, and you know what, if you take like 10% of the wealth, I think it's even less than that. I'm gonna check the exact ratios, and I'm gonna share them again. But since 2014-15, if you take, I think 1% of the wealth of the 10% richest people in the world, you would solve poverty. Fact. You know, it's probably even less now because people have gotten richer since 2015.
That's very.
So it's less than 1% of the wealth of the top 10 richest people in the world. You solve poverty.
Yeah.
Put that in perspective. Why have we not solved poverty then? Obviously, some people don't care, and that's not okay.
Well, I think there's again, it's kind of complex, but give me 1 second. Pause, and we're back.
Yeah.
So the last point you made about the billionaires, and it's like it's less than 1% actually. I think I saw the numbers this week, and it could solve poverty actually. And I think that's a great issue to solve, because then that brings with it education, and a higher education for these people that will be living this state of poverty.
Yeah.
But it's complex in of itself, in the sense that, let's say you have the money right now, right?
Yeah.
And I wanna this issue, I wanna solve it. But there are sometimes these people, there are very complex situations internally when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
So let's say you as a rich person cannot go to another country and with your money change a lot of the internal things. Why? Because a lot of these countries that have this level of poverty, as it's to the level of misery, there's a lot of corruption.
Yeah.
And the corruption makes it that even when people have tried to help people that perhaps are wealthy, or even people, social workers, starting in initiatives to solve certain issues, if they conflict to the ruling classes goals and plans, it just doesn't go nowhere. It goes nowhere. And when it comes to this is just me talking, right? So if there are billionaires
Yeah.
across the world, they have vested interests in a lot of companies that might be benefiting from the certain geopolitical state of the markets and shit like that. So it's like, fuck, yeah.
Yeah,
it's fucked up that would be a reason, right?
yeah. I mean, it's definitely not that easy, and of course, politics is gonna play a role and all of that. But again, there are certain things that just need to be eradicated, man. Like, look how people fucking look how Palestinians are treated, man. Like, if you can do that and fucking back it up with some religious and political reasoning, then what stops you from just not accept and not collaborate or not endorse the corruption from certain figures in a country? You know, like, it's not like our governments and our businesses, or as you said, some of the corporations or billionaires, it's not like they're not having any type of relationship with those people in power over there. You know, so just invest in the other people and cut ties with those that, you know, are not contributing to the goods, or like step to the right side of history, you know, like that.
There's definitely in that sense, if you do want to, if you have the money and you want to see a chance, sometimes you gotta I guess in those countries you gotta get your hands dirty, you know, like, fuck, we need these people to survive. Okay, who's ruling, who's handling this? Okay, you get a bit, just let this help go through.
Yeah, there you go. And it's not like the majority of your riches are gonna go to, you're gonna lose them because you cut ties with, you know, a few governments or whatever. Like, you can afford those losses. That's why you're fucking rich. That's why the physics of society don't apply to you. Because you can afford those losses. And I don't know, man. And it's proven that the way that the way that capitalism works is that cheap labor supplies high or expensive product sales, basically. So then you owe it to these people. You owe it. You owe it. Every country owes it to whatever non-expensive foreign goods they're getting from these places, because they are just exploited where they come from, you know. So I don't know, man.
This might be a question out of left field, but how do you see art contributing to these to these situations? What can we as creative and artists do, right? So what can we do?
Well, I think especially in the area of hip-hop, there is a lot that can be done, because one, hip-hop is like becoming the fourth, I think it's even increasing, but in 2019 is the fourth most consumed music genre worldwide.
Damn.
It's especially becoming the favorite genre of people between 16 and 24 years old, which are the generations of the future. That means that this genre of music has a lot of reach and influence on people. But right now, hip-hop is mostly used to entertain and talk about superficial desires, and, you know, women, sex, drugs, owning money, and owning expensive cars and clothes and shit like that. Basically what some academics call hip-hop pornography, which is just feeding on all these antisocial things, but that are fleshly, that you like, you know, that you desire. But hip-hop originally was meant to be a political statement and a form of expression that would reflect upon the issues in society and inform people and empower them to do better, you know. And we need to go back to that. And I think that there is even interest from a lot of people to hear this type of content. It's just not used a lot by record labels. It's not represented a lot out there because it's not mass marketable, and it's not you know, the most profitable, and people just want to create songs that hit, you know, large audiences, and then you just gotta make that, it's dumb it down as much as possible, basically, you know.
Made me think of all my life I want
Money and power, respect.
Like he made that song putting himself in the shoes of his 16-year-old self, you know, and you can hear the aggressiveness, and that's probably what he was being influenced by and his surroundings when he was that age, right? So thinking back, like how when you were 16, what was your mentality, you know, what influences did you have around, and it makes sense, because when you reach a certain age, or even like nowadays from very early on, media plays a huge role in the development of the generations, of at least the latest couple of generations, the last couple of generations, right? So I remember a time before everybody had internet, and we used to actually play outside and shit like that, right?
Bro, since sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So that media plays a huge role in as you grow up. For example, when I was a teenager, right? It was reggaeton was a huge. It still is, but like old school reggaeton was a huge influence in what we were being exposed to.
Yeah, man, and even then it was all about the club, you know, money, gangster. It was just copying hip hop a little bit, but adding that Latino vibe to it.
Yeah, but going back to like how the conversation started, like, you know, like hip hop was initially started as a, you know, to express yourself about certain issues, and then it got its message shifted into the what we came to know when it became commercial. The message started shifting, like violence. They started realizing violence sells.
For sure, man.
It just does.
These are things that appeal your brain, that everybody can relate to, and that's very important in music, right? You want to regulate emotions, you want to regulate moods, right? And one very popular mood that people want to regulate is getting turned, having fun. You know, we often live depressive lives. You know, you work hard or you study. Most of your day you're studying, you probably are not enjoying high school, you probably are not enjoying your whole day, so you're looking forward to that weekend, to that party, to the club, to
just want to shut it down for a little while.
Yeah, you need an escape, and that's totally okay, that's totally natural. You know, what we don't need is being oversaturated with entertainment to feed that escape, because actually people also want to listen to something inspirational, listen to something educational, listen to something emotional, something that comes from the fucking heart, you know, and all of that we can also contribute as rappers, as artists, you know, and a lot of artists and athletes and these public figures, many of them come from humble beginnings. So, you know, raise awareness. Don't just focus on entertaining the people, but raise awareness or start initiatives and give back to the people, you know.
Nice. You took it like all the way around. So that would be the contribution for as artists, like just like how do you feel about certain things, and if you make a lit fucking turn up song, that's how you feel at that moment. Fuck it, you know, like take it out, but don't let go of the awareness of shit that goes around in your environment and how that affects you.
There you go.
I mean, process it, right? So processing the stimuli that we get from the environment is fucking healthy, right? During what happens with George Floyd, right? So the reaction is anger.
Yeah, man.
Right, you get fucking pissed off if you see those videos, you know. Channel that, but I think you need to have also like a lot of goals clear, or what do you want to achieve with this.
And I mean, there are different ways to roam, like how we say in Spanish, different pathways can lead to Rome. So maybe you don't want to be the conscious rapper, the conscious content creator. Maybe you enjoy making people laugh. Maybe you enjoy making people dance and have fun. I'm cool with that, you know. But what you can do is organize, mobilize movements, you know, outside from your craft. You know, share something woke on Instagram. be involved in movements and show that to the people, inspire them to be like, oh, this guy raps about bitches money, but look at him also helping feed the poor. Wow, people look up to you, dude. So you can be an example. Reallocate resources. This is what Ross did. Ross, for the Black Lives Matter movement, he came up with this t-shirt in 2017, and he started selling this t-shirt a few months ago and collected proceeds of $500,000 and distributed it among charities that were working with Black Lives Matter,
Nice.
So that's called reallocation of resources. Maybe if I tell you right now, give money to charity, you're like, fuck the charity, I don't trust it, this and that. I totally understand you. So what can we do then? Buy something that you like, and then whomever gets the money from that shit that you bought contributes in reallocating that shit. Or you start a fucking business and get rich, and then make sure that you reallocate resources. A certain percentage of your profits goes to work initiatives that you can oversee, that you can initiate, that if you don't trust existing charities or whatever, we don't need to think about now. I don't care if you're not giving money to charity now. That's okay. The important thing is looking on the long term. How can we change this reality? That's what we need to. We shouldn't treat symptoms of war. We should cure war. We shouldn't treat symptoms of poverty. We should cure poverty, so that we don't need to deal with it, right? That it's no longer a problem.
Nice. Love that.
Yeah, bro.
Positivismo, mi gente.
And we're going there, man. There are so many, I look at political leaders, I saw the director of IMF talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah, we need to start reallocating funds. The way that the system works, it's getting some people richer at the expense of other people getting poor. We need to change this mentality. When you see people in such high positions saying these things, then you don't feel like you're just some hippie. That there are people with influence out there that are also resonating with these things, and that gives hope. And that can be us, that can be you, that can be me, that can be our friends, that can be the people I study with right now, that can be the people that live in this fucking building. All of us are fucking talented, and one day we're gonna be the ones in a company, we're gonna be the ones in a government, we're gonna be the ones contributing to society. And if you carry with you these morals of helping others, of not tolerating injustice, not allowing solvable problems to exist for longer than necessary, that's gonna be the real change. That's
Touché.
Yeah, bro.
Dope. Well, guys, I think we're reaching the time to close it up for this time. Let us know if you liked the topics. What are your thoughts? This is just us talking about stuff that maybe we read, that we feel at the moment. We might be wrong, but we would love to hear different perspectives, right? So let's have dialogues, have conversations about this type of shit, and then something dope might arise.
Give us your HighSo-Spective. Let us know what you think about the things we talk about. We're always eager to learn. We're always eager to hear other perspectives from people, so that we can also, of course I'm biased. Of course we see things a certain way. But together, if we share our perspectives, we can come to a more educated, well-informed.
We can figure shit out.
Life compass. Yeah, exactly.
So last time we left you without music. No, this time that's not gonna happen. We're gonna give you some music.
Some freestyle vibes.
Let me just open.
While we're setting up the freestyle, make sure to hit a like if you like what we're talking about. If you think that this is a nice initiative, just, let us know that you like this shit. Comment, give a like, whatever. We just
show
would
some
appreciate
love.
it. Show some love. And yeah, just tune in, man. Let's talk together.
Dope.
Un poquito más pasito, weón. Dale más pasito, dale suavecito.
Curve con el dropper.
Yeah.
Peaks.
Set, check. Somos uno con el cosmos. Somos uno con el cosmos. Yeah. Somos uno con el cosmos. Yo, somos uno con él. Somos uno con el cosmos, aunque estamos no lo estamos, aunque seamos no lo somos. El cosmos es lo que somos, el colmo de una raza en las alturas de este fondo. Rupturas y ataduras quedarán absueltas pronto y te propongo que mejores aunque cosas empeoren, te perdones porque vivir es aprender de estos errores, aplicando lo aprendido, usando bien estos sensores. Son, yo, el peso del pasado está en tu mente y corazón, es el catalizador de la reacción que ha comenzado hace eons.
Evolución.
Yo, lo has demostrado desde que eras un embrión. Quizás sea un simulacro para un dios la distracción. Quizás sea un simulacro para un dios la distracción. Para un dios la distracción. Yo.
No me escucho. Polvo de estrella, misteriosa vida bella, viajando por el cosmos, ya ni la muerte me sella. Naturaleza, yo me siento uno con ella y ven bella, lo que el filósofo te enseña. Somos un organismo de su imagen, todo lo mismo. Él dice ten paciencia, encuentra tu camino. No dejes que conciencia te sienta más perdido. Recuerda que conciencia es un juego divertido, transitoria, supernova, corta vida y superbola. Si eso te le agobia, invierta en su persona, que hasta de la escoria es posible sacar gloria. El fallo es que la historia le
Falla la memoria, son. Somos uno con el cosmos, man.
The HighSo-Spective Freestyle.
Yes.
Killing it, brother.
Cosmos coming soon.
Yeah.
One love, buddy.